Kage Stand Strong is now +1 on block, up from -1. They did this by giving it more hit stun and more recovery, meaning he now has a cancel route into Heavy Tatsu, which is now the damage optimal conversion, naturally. It also just closes up some reversal windows in some of his cancels. Stand Fierce is now +1 on hit, up from -3. This lets it combo into Heavy Red Fireball, which improves his corner conversions. Also, on counter hit, it now combos to Heavy Stomp, which is a cancel that was already occasionally used to loop pressure. Stand Forward is a frame faster, with more range and a smaller hurt box. Huge buffs all around. Low Forward is now 6 frame startup. This enhances it as a poke and also in his combos and frame traps. For example, it combos from Low Strong, and it has more reach than anything else that combos. Look at this 3 frame trap. And this counter hit conversion. Towards Fierce now super cancels. Previously, your only combo routes were Roundhouse from the TC or a trigger cancel. This gives you a high damage conversion without trigger. It raw confirms with or without the crush counter. If you do the TC, the opponent is launched higher. This improves Yoroki's M at mid-screen. And gives you EX Uppercut in the corner. All Kage's Hadoken versions were similar before. Now they have 3 different startup times, with light 3 frames faster at 10, and heavy 3 frames slower at 16. Both medium and heavy Hadoken now have more range. EX Hadoken crumples the opponent, but now if you hit them fast enough, you can hit them on the ground. Previously Kage always went for heavy Tatsu here, but now he can get a light normal or even low strong. But note that you're too far away after the low strong Stand Fierce link. Light Shoryuken had a 20 damage buff and a range buff. Nice for his light normal combos. Heavy Shoryu also does 20 more damage, and its invincibility was moved to frame 3 from frame 4. Most good frame traps in SF5 are 3 frame traps, and now Kage can break them without meter with a good read. You can now cancel Heavy Shoryu's second hit to super. Since the damage buff on Heavy Shoryu is on the first hit, this is a 40 damage buff to his super cancels before scaling. Air Hadokens now have explosions like Akuma's ground Hadokens. This explosion is notable because it will hit a grounded standing opponent. They are still crouchable though. Obviously these fireballs are also hard to jump over, which means throwing instant air fireballs is a strangely effective zoning strategy against many characters, which really helps Kage's neutral. Medium Tatsu is 3 frames faster. I see no new combos, but it does combo from late cancel low forward now, giving you better single hit confirms. VT2 had numerous buffs. Now if you throw heavy Hadokens and trigger, they actually work like normal fireballs. They don't quite go full screen. They still have Kage's excellent fireball startup and recovery. So now the range weakness has been removed, they're actually very strong and completely changes neutral. Additionally in VT2, Heavy Stomp is now +6 rather than +5, giving Kage a link to Stand Fierce. Misogi was also buffed. Like Supers, it now has a minimum scaling, though it's only 30% rather than Supers having 50%. So, Misogi always does at least 45 damage. Doesn't sound like a lot, but previously it could go down to 16 with a long enough combo. It now combos from EX Stomp. EX Stomp is a relatively fast overhead, and the Misogi cancel not only makes it safe on block, but also now adds a big chunk of damage. If you land Metsuhadoken in a non-cinematic way, Kage can now juggle out of it. This is much weaker than Cinematic Super, even with the juggle. and sometimes even with a Misogi cancel at the end. But there are certain scenarios where it's hard to get the cinematic version, and it's very appreciated there. Along with Alex and Ryu, Kage is one of the most buffed characters I've looked at so far. He had very nice buffs to his combo damage, his combo variety, and his space control. Patch notes say they wanted a character with offense befitting his low HP, and I'd say they did a good job. When Kage was released, he was often compared to Dan, not only for their similar animations, but also for Kage's short fireball range and apparent competitive weakness. But I think between patches and experimentation, people really have a lot more faith in Kage now as a tournament character.